Diablo IV has been marketed as having Lilith, the mother of Nephilim and daughter of Mephisto, as the main antagonist of the game.
Lilith.
But is it really Diablo without the Lord of Terror himself? We've already seen him form up as the primeval, supposedly the embodiment of Baphomet, which is the most powerful being darkness has ever known. With that in mind, here are my top 7 predictions for Diablo 4's true final boss. After defeating Diablo, the Primeval, and even Archangel Malthael combined with the Black Soul Stone, it seems the Nephilim are the most powerful beings to walk Sanctuary. At the end of Reaper of Souls, Tyrael expounds on the fact that the fate of the worlds, for good or ill, is firmly in the hands of the Nephilim. So what happens if the Nephilim takes the bad path? If they are stronger than demons and angels alike, logically it's the toughest fight to take on and would be a kind of dark, macabre path. Like the Dark Wanderer Aiden, the warrior hero from Diablo 1, shoving the Soul Stone into his head and forcing new heroes to face him as he was twisting into the very thing that he slew, Diablo. Will we too see a former Nephilim finally walk a darker path and have to slay them in turn to save Sanctuary? With hell nearly empty after its assault on heaven, could the Nephilim of Diablo 3 make that their own playground? Speaking of hell,
in that moment, with victory at hand, I saw the Nephilim in a new light. She is a hero who can defeat the champions of heaven and hell, and a barbarian who protects the innocent. But within her beats a mortal heart that will one day be tempted to corruption. On that day, will she have the strength to resist? Or will she be our doom?
What happened to all the souls trapped in the Black Soul Stone once it was destroyed? It's a great question.
That is a great question.
Jesse?
I think previously we've said that they were all bound together. On further introspection, they're probably separate and they will come back at some point. That brings me back to the first question, actually, which I was thinking about while we were talking, that Anarius' jailer is one of those.
That's true.
So that could create problems for Sanctuary.
chained for eternity in Mephisto's realm is Anarius, the one-time lover of demons and father of the Nephilim, who was not above killing his own children to keep them in line. Although he couldn't bring himself to murder his former lover Lilith after she slaughtered his followers, he did banish her to the void until we see her return in the Diablo IV trailer, for which Lilith's dad Mephisto was gifted Anarius as a peace offering from the heavens, and Mephisto, not being the forgiving type, slowly ripped off his wings and bound him in chains, tearing off his eyelids so he could stare at his misshapen form for eternity. Now, at BlizzCon 2019, it was said that the primevals are out of hell. It is also hinted at that Anarius may be freed, and that hell was mostly emptied by Diablo himself due to trying to take the high heavens. Now, what would a rogue angel who wasn't above slaying his own children, the Nephilim, do after years of torture? Surely the brief glimpse we saw of him in the trailer was something more poignant than a flashback. Would he decide if he couldn't rule Sanctuary, he would set up shop in hell? My prediction is if we don't aid Anarius, we would surely slay him, but what would happen if he teamed up with Lilith once more and we had to fight them in tandem?
Save us.
Lilith, with her storied past involving the Nephilim, bearing many titles in her years including Mother of Nephilim, Queen of the Succubi, and Daughter of the Lord of Hatred. However, she has displayed a softer side for her children, the Nephilim. When threatened with extinction, her maternal instincts kicked in and she slaughtered angels and demons alike to protect them. I believe if we encounter Lilith in Sanctuary, she'll be in the form we see in the trailer. Although, as confirmed that we will once again be traveling to Hell, she will probably retreat there and have a final form. My prediction is the form that she took on, slaughtering angels and demons alike in the Sin War, was described as she morphed into a new horrific form and hunted down fellow renegades. She ruthlessly murdered each and every follower of Inarius and demon alike, leaving him to discover the carnage she wrought. We haven't actually seen this form yet, but I assume that it's a much stronger, powered up version of Lilith. Considering we have seen demons form into the primeval and Malthael absorb the essence of it, what if the Nephilim, the true powerhouse in Diablo, could be absorbed themselves? What's to say that Lilith, who brought the Nephilim into this world, she would think she has the right to take them out by absorbing them back into herself and become an even greater threat?
As we talked before, Malthael's genocidal campaign has just wrecked our world. Scores of death everywhere you see. And in that death, massive power vacuums have opened up across the world. And people have begun to fill those power vacuums. Our household lore names that you may have heard before, like the Zakarum and the Temple of the Triune. And honestly, when I think about it all, I think about Lilith and I think about the world she created. And the way we see the world now, that sanctuary they created to hide out from the eternal conflict, it's hard to believe there's any refuge left on Sanctuary.
Against his kind, there could only be blood for blood! So much for your unity. The trap, at last, is sprung.
It has been officially confirmed by the devs that the gates of heaven are closed in Diablo 4, and so is access to the angels. So if you played Diablo 3, you would know just watching the cinematics, especially the short film Wrath, that Imperius is increasingly turning to a dark path, which I cover in a video recently called Imperius and Why He's an Idiot. What's more, angels reform into new angels in heaven versus primevals, which just take time to regenerate. Maybe Imperius decides he likes war so much he would join the demons just to sate his bloodlust for Nephilim. The Diablo team have, for some reason, been building Imperius into a low-key villain of Wrath, and it seems like he's just one more catastrophic event from going AWOL.
Perhaps you fear them seeing you for what you truly are. I fear nothing! Arise, Diablo, Lord of Terror.
We will no doubt face the Lord of Terror in Diablo 4 or one of its expansions. There is a problem. How do you go up from the primeval? By killing Malthael and Reaper of Souls, the spirits of the 7 evils are free, as seen by a confirmed Duriel in Sanctuary. Yet, nothing is confirmed except their spirits are loose. It does take time for them to be reformed, and they will be in a weaker state. However, we already have seen confirmed Duriel, the Lord of Pain, will be a boss in-game, so he is somewhat strong enough to fight, which means the evils, also untethered, are reforming. Although without being bound to soul stones, the greater evils would also be weaker. So how would we see Diablo in the game? Will he bind to another being, or will the player character be weaker? One thing's for sure, it's not really a Diablo game without Diablo.
He's returning to Diablo 4. If you don't know who he is, his name is Duriel, and he is the Lord of Pain. And I don't want to spoil any of the interaction that you're going to have or the impact that he has on Sanctuary, because that's something that you're going to find out in the story.
It's the World Serpent.
Tragul is the dragon who appeared magically after Sanctuary was created and was tasked with maintaining the balance on a cosmic level. As such, he trained Rathma, the first of the Nephilim, and others in the arts of necromancy and disappeared back to his own realm. A few things to note are, Tragul is one of the many guardians mentioned during the Sin War, afraid that if balance tipped too far one way or the other, it would literally destroy the universe, so he has a stake in Sanctuary. We don't have a confirm whether the Nephilim who killed Malthael aligned with the light or the dark, but they are the most powerful being. We also know that the balance is fair out of whack in Sanctuary, and that he must be insanely powerful being to be able to tip the scales of the power of light and the dark in Sanctuary as well. Finally, he has his own realm, and as we know, we're getting pretty familiar with Sanctuary and the Burning Hells, and it would make sense Blizzard would be looking for stronger enemies in previously unexplored lands.
Blessed Mother, save us.
It's still up for speculation whether the original Nephilim, Rathma, or some people believe it's Zoltan Kulle, the mysterious man in the trailer who brought Lilith back to life. Even though Sanctuary has been confirmed in a power vacuum, there is no way in hell you would ever summon a demon without trying to gain some form of power yourself. The real question then is, when will we encounter this character and how powerful will he be? Assuming he's aligned with the Dark, of course, you'd think he had a master plan to become one of the greater powers in Diablo. And hey, if it's Rathma, he is a Nephilim who are so OP at this point, by default, he's going to be a powerhouse. But only time will tell.
You think me mad, old friend, but I know these dreams. They tell of the future. Hell is coming, brother.